This is Pastor Troy. I hope you're doing well. We are wrapping up season 2, but you know what that means? The best of season 2. Here it comes. It's coming right at you in just a minute, but don't worry. We're in the studio. We're getting ready. We're getting things lined up, and very soon we'll be unveiling season 3 of On the Dock. In the meantime, you can go back, watch season 1. Check it out. It is fantastic. It's not outdated. Go catch it. And now we're in season 2, and get ready for this best of season 2 episode. Troy, onthedock.org. What a great theme song that is. Onthedock.org. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we are dropping podcasts left and right. Just look out. One's coming to a platform near you. We're all about conversations to propel your faith out of the shallows and into the deep. We're going to do that in this podcast episode. I hate to say it is tonight, so I'll just use the word tonight to time us, and we're going to get ready to go. Check us out at YouTube. Hopefully you found us there, Spotify, iTunes. Those are our primary platforms. Also, you can find us on Google Play, Facebook, Roku, Rumble, and SermonNet. We also house all our stuff on SermonNet. You can probably find it also on YouTube. When you find us on YouTube or Spotify, iTunes, always hit that subscribe, like, notify. Make sure you're always getting the notice of new episodes coming up, and we just really appreciate that. If you get out on our social media partners, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter. We'd love to hear from you and have you as a part of the conversation tonight. Again, hit subscribe, like, notify, spread the plague of On the Dock. And then we'd love to have you as a Patreon sponsor. Go to my Patreon, look up On the Dock. We have 4 partnership levels, 3 sponsorship levels. We'd always love to have you be a part. Go find out what it means to be a partner of On the Dock with Pastor Troy. And if you are confused about all this, go to onthedock.org. You can find all of an embedded viewer, all of our platforms and links to my Patreon as well. We've got a good site there. It tells you about all of our team. And if you're still confused, email us at info@onthedock.org. Our executive producer, Donna Kranuski, will get a hold of you and she will walk you through it. All right, we're ready to go here. We're in studio. Got next to me. I haven't been with her in a while. I mean, we're married. I mean, I go home with her, but I mean, I haven't been with her in the studio. Well, it seemed forever, Beth. I got Mother Beth in the studio as my co-host today. She's my partner in crime. This will be the only episode where my co-host for this is not Ben. You know, Ben is AWOL from this right side of the table, the host of the table. And Ben's a host with us on a lot of shows, but in this series, he's been my co-partner, and we basically... You did a few of these, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We brought you in whenever somebody didn't have a fourth, and we brought her in on Sunday.
Or I sat on the couch and you talked to me over there.
A lot of times you were in the room, and then we gave you the Lucas effect. But Lucas has got a microphone. We've got Lucas Winkler with us in the house. Well, our techno wizard, executive director.
Hello.
Got camera. He's got audio. He's got the whole bit, but he can't sit at the table because he's got too many buttons over there. He got lots of buttons.
Yeah, too many buttons.
Just go on camera. Show us just show us what a button does. You got buttons. They're pretty too.
Yeah. There's too many buttons. These all switch the cameras.
Oh, very cool. Okay, what about sound effects? You got sound effects?
And yeah, I got tons of
sound effects. The audience.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, I hate that one.
That's for pretty much anything that
how about I want the studio audience. All the people in the audience. Don't you just love On the Dock? Tell us right. Yes. Thank you, studio audience.
So talented.
Yeah, we're so talented. So Lucas, thank you for being in tonight. He's like, we wouldn't be on there. So, but yeah, we need Lucas. Lucas has been a part of all this. It's going to be great tonight. We got a great show for you. I've got with us, I mean, we're in the Worship Leaders of Southern Illinois series, a series that we're calling a super series for season 2. Mother Beth?
Super.
Yeah, super. He's helping me out. You're a guest. You can't talk to me. He's all, I'll try it again. Beth, you got to do Ben's part because Ben's not on the side of the table. It's a On the Dock season 2 super series.
Super.
Thank you. You got to fill in. You got. I mean, he's got big shoes to fill. I mean, it's tough.
They're 12s.
He's trying to help there. Across the table now, we have with us our guest. He had to go to a different dressing room. He had to get makeup and all that. He's our guest. He even got his own cup on the table. You know, we are featuring tonight as we wrap up this series. We have gone through all of our leaders of Southern Illinois. Here, let me count real quick. Give me a minute. We have covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're our 9th worship leader in the Southern Illinois Worship Leader series, and you're the last one. Originally, we were going to have him go first, and we were going to set a tone and go. And then we got talking about it. Well, we'll let him go last because he can copy as much stuff as he wants. You can plagiarize these guys. Yeah, you plagiarize these guys. And then in the end of this, we're going to kind of pull it all together too. So we'll let him jump back in the co-host seat maybe in the 3rd episode of this 3-part sub-series. We'll let him jump back in the seat and we'll just kind of talk about the whole experience. And hopefully down the road, we're going to bring up there's a 3-part, we're hoping to do a 2, 3, 4-part big finale to this. So we're working on it now. Hopefully we'll get that developed down the road, and we will have special advertising for that. So we got Ben Ottolini here, Community of Faith Church's worship pastor. He's the worship pastor at our host church right here, Community of Faith Church. Let me get his dressage. See, I gave him, you got a different promotional photo. Look at that, Ben Ottolini.
Look at that thick beard.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, better photo than we normally get for you on the show. Mm-hmm. Normally, if Ben's on the show, he gets a really crappy photo. It's a little blurry. Let me put Ben's.
Thank you, Dan Lopez.
I got to see if I can find Ben's crappy photo.
I kind of look like my name should be Jedediah.
Here's what Ben normally gets. He gets just that simple photo.
We all get that photo.
No, but Ben,
we all
he gets
have that photo.
Action photo now.
Jedediah.
Action.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, action photo. So you're not getting that next week because you'll look better than all of us, and we all want to look crappy together. That's the main key. So Ben's here. Ben is, as I said, the worship pastor at Community Faith Church, which I am also the pastor at. So we pastor this church together, and we are a dynamic team. He's Batman, I'm Robin.
A duo.
Yeah, duo. Oh yeah, he's my main man here, and we both work for the main man, God Himself. And we have services Wednesday night 6:30. You can catch him unplugged with a real simple act. Usually it's him. Sometimes he has somebody else in the saddle. Wednesday 6:30. You've always got some worship going on for us on teaching night, worship and word. Sundays we have an incredible service 10 a.m. Our worship team is just phenomenal. Pound for pound, we are as strong worship team as anybody in the region. And we've got churches that from size point and resource point blow us out of the water in this region. We've got a couple that are just tiger churches. But I'll tell you this, I sat down with a couple of our leaders, and one of them who's attending churches all over the metro region, St. Louis now, and said they've been attending, trying to find a home church. They've moved up that way. And they said they have found some good churches, but no platform that's any better than what we put out on Sunday morning. And so that says a lot, Ben. We've got volunteers. The only person on the platform that's paid is Ben and Lucas, and they're paid poorly. So, I mean, they're just paid poorly. So thank God we have you. Come out 10 o'clock on Sundays. Check him out. You can go watch his worship online. Go to SermonNet for Community Faith Church or Community Faith Church Facebook or Community Faith Church YouTube. You can go look. We record most of our worship services are recorded, so you can get a chance to feel for the worship. If you want to go pick a date, just go pick any date. The last couple of weeks have been great. I won't tell you when we are, but just go look back anytime in January. He's been great in January. 2023, it's been great. So check out the church. Come find out more about Ben's worship ministry here. We'd love to have you. And you just have to tolerate me. Ben, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your church family. I want you to tell us a little bit about your church family and the church you're at and what you see as what's happened in Mission and Vision and all that stuff. Give us a little bit of introduction, because it's not everybody hears about our church from me. What about from you?
Well, my name's Ben.
Hi, Ben. Everybody out there in TV land, say hello, Ben. Hello, Ben. I'm speaking on the ground. There they are. The masses. There are people wrecking right now. They're clapping, and they're in the car, and they're literally going off bridges.
I just envisioned a bunch of dolphins.
In the name of Jesus, we pray for straight steering for all people clapping.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we're good.
This is gonna be bad.
This is gonna be great. Yeah.
So Ben, tell us.
We're gonna get a lot done.
Just tell us a little bit about where you're serving, and a little bit about your church and your team, and just give us a little bit of introductory.
So I lead worship here. It's a Community Faith Church here we are.
There you go.
I've been
Boom.
here. Have I been here 4.5 years now?
4.5 years.
Yeah.
Gee,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like 1,000.
a long time.
It's been.
No, it seems like just yesterday.
Yeah, I mean it's been a wild ride for sure. I feel like our church has gone through a lot of changes in the last 4.5 years.
Gosh, we've had babies and we've had cancer and we've had legs chopped off and we've grown legs back, and
Yeah.
it's a challenge to be a church like ours today.
For
Any
sure.
church is preaching the gospel and doing the mission work we're doing. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are doing work. We'll talk about this more later, but you're doing work in India. We're doing work in Thailand as a church, Liberia. When you're doing work like we're doing, it's a challenge at the House of Hope. So it's a busy church.
Yeah,
Well,
we got a lot going on. A lot of eggs in a lot of baskets.
yeah, and the devil notices that. Then he tries to scramble them occasionally.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I guess I approach my position as a worship leader, worship pastor. I never thought I'd be called a pastor of any kind, but here we are.
Well, you are. Yeah.
Doing my best. But
You do a phenomenal job. Go check out the worship here. It's incredible. Let me show you Ben's family. Ben is married, so all you ladies out there, sorry, you'll have to go back to one of our other guests. We've had
that's so
others.
cute.
We've had
Gosh, those
other
kids.
single guests. Go check out them, and you can stalk them, but you cannot stalk Ben. Ben's got an incredible wife, Haley, and she will cut you.
she really should have had me trim my beard up before that.
She should have, you know.
yucky.
And you got these kids. Your
It
kids
looks
are a
good.
little older. Lucas's hair is a lot longer right now.
Yeah,
he's got
Luca
more
has
of a
got-
Butch
he's
Cassidy
got
and
a mane.
Sundance Kid going on.
Yeah, Luca and Zion.
Zion and the little girls, and Zion's like absolutely one of my favorite little girls in the world. So I mean, I've got my own girls, and then I just added her to the family. So I mean, anytime we're buddies. So I mean, you've got a great family. You and Haley, you guys, you've been in India in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
You've been traveling there. Your wife does work in kind of fighting against human trafficking through the Mosaic, and we've interviewed your wife. So
Yep.
if you online, you want to find out more about his wife, you want to find out how to target her or whatever, go find the Mosaic Initiative. We did a series on her back in season 1, but just incredible. And so you're married, got 2 kids. You live in the Marion area, right? That got dogs, cats, anything like that?
We got a cat. His name's Noodle.
And Noodle. Okay.
Yeah.
Good, fantastic. So, and what I like about Ben is Ben moved down here to take the job here. You were
Yeah.
living in the metro.
Yeah, which I mean that's a story in itself. If you want me to,
Yeah, go ahead.
Go there,
Tell them about that. I think
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. So
It shows how God works.
for sure. Yeah. So I mean, I from Waterloo, Illinois, originally, which ironically, you
Which
had a
we
church
we
there.
planted
Yeah.
a church called Table of Grace in Waterloo
Yeah.
years ago. It ended up getting merged into a couple other churches after we left, after the Methodist Church killed it. But
Yep.
pretty much everybody we led to Christ ended up in a church that we love.
Yeah.
So it's good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, we were down there.
Some connection, yeah.
I was part of a church called Life Community Church, where I made a couple of great friends, and I wasn't like on staff or anything there, but I volunteered on the worship team and made some connections through that church, which led me to my day job, which is a company that I work for called Surgical Direct, where we basically it's a mobile ophthalmic service. So I work with different ophthalmologists and bring all the equipment for cataract surgery. One of those ophthalmologists happens to be Dr. Umana, who
Elder leader here, part of
here.
the Hands Hope Foundation board.
Exactly. And so one aspect of that job is kind of a missions aspect where they donate mission supplies and surgical supplies that can't be used
Equipment,
here.
phaco machines
equipment,
like you
all
work
that
at.
stuff. And a lot of that ends up going to Dr. Umana. And so we made that connection with you guys through my day job.
Did you know we were
in
doing
essence.
trip before I knew you? We were already doing the trips, and they were already providing stuff.
Yeah.
And techs and stuff. We met Chris and other techs that
Yep.
your company has sent, and your company's been very good friend of the Hands Hope Foundation, which I direct. And gosh, we have operated on hundreds and hundreds of people's eyes.
Yeah.
And we've taken your colleagues that you work with,
Yeah.
both now in the past.
Dustin and Chris.
They've gone with us and had incredible trips. You've never gotten to go on a Liberia
I've
trip.
always wanted to.
And so we'll get you on one of those down the road, but
Yeah.
but it's been amazing. So there was a connection, though we didn't know each other. There was more of a connection through Dr. Romano and maybe through Chris Thiel.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Chris made that connection, and Chris and I had started. Chris started this thing called Freestyle. Sorry.
Would freestyle isn't really like a cedar session. It was a little.
No.
It was more of a group thing. Wasn't
Yeah, it was like a once a month we would basically host a worship and ministry night at a location in the city.
Kind of a super encounter session. Type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, totally, like an encounter
They
night.
were happening. I mean,
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And so I think through the connection with Hands of Hope and Surgical Direct, we got connected with Josh,
Right.
Your son.
Because Josh was, for those that know, Josh was working up in the metro region as well for a
Yep.
while. Worked up in the Shane's church area and stuff like that. We came from up there,
Mm-hmm.
so we have a lot of connections like you do in that Waterloo, Highland, Lucas
Yeah,
as
Lucas
well
was
from
there.
that area. So we have a lot of connections.
Yeah, so Josh Lucas, and then the Lopez's actually from Love and Truth, who obviously now Cedar Sessions with Dan and everything. They came down. I remember for a Cedar session because Josh had started For His Glory here, which was kind of like a worship movement type thing here.
Right.
And a group of them came up to St. Louis. I always say down, but it's actually up.
Yeah.
But yeah, they came for one of those freestyle nights, and that's where we all met, and relationship was just sparked up immediately. Started coming down here every so often to help Josh with a For His Glory event.
Right.
some
And then
worship
Josh came on
nights
staff, and there were
things
some
like that.
connections there, right?
Totally. And so then, I mean,
We got really close to starting a church together
yeah.
in the metro.
And this was a process of probably 2-3 years.
Yeah, we worked hard at it. We
Mm-hmm.
just, the Lord never opened the right doors or set the, I mean, there were small groups started and we were ready to go. I
Yeah.
had laid foundation here and that thing just kind of came apart.
Yeah,
It didn't come apart.
unfortunately.
It's just the Lord had a plan, a different plan.
Yeah.
And when that broke up,
That's a good way to put it.
yeah, when it broke up, we got a time when we needed a worship leader.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh and I just said, I mean, I have to say this to you, just the whole process. I mean, you were just like hot on everybody's mind. And then I put a call out to you. I don't even think it worked out well the first time, right?
Well, yeah.
The first time we met you?
Yeah, we wanted. I think the conversation was like, yeah, like I would love to move down there, and
But
you
my
guys
job-
would love to have me. But you know, you got Nathan was here and
Yep.
and
Right.
leading worship here, and he was incredible.
Oh, doing a great job. Yeah,
like
doing a great job.
killing it. So, I mean, my prayer kind of at that time was like, Lord, if you want me to move to Southern Illinois, you're going to have to open the doors, and I would like to be able to keep my day job.
Right.
Yeah.
And originally that wasn't a possibility.
Right. Not at
Right,
all.
not at all. Not at
It was
all.
off the table.
And we were going to create a spot for you, working alongside and all
Sure.
that stuff. And it was just all going to be very stretchy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we waited and we were just patient. Go ahead.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So.
Boom. Nathan says,
6
"I'm
months
leaving."
later, yeah, like
I'm leaving.
Yeah, Nathan. So the exact time Nathan decided, he and his wife were called out.
Where'd he
to
go to? He went to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What's
and,
that big name church at Lucas that he went to?
Elevator.
Elevation.
It's the Elevator Church. He wanted to go to that big church in the
Yeah.
sky.
And he went.
He went.
Elevator.
And God bless them. They went and did a great
Yes.
experience.
And the Lord
Learned a lot.
worked
Learned
through
a lot.
that. Yeah, for
and
sure.
they're back in the region now. Praise God.
100%.
But
yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah. So simultaneously, I mean,
We called again.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Hello.
And as that happened, as Nathan was like the same exact time, Nathan was transitioning to move out there, and well, it just so happened that we had a physician starting up down in Metropolis, and it was like 2 days a week that she was going to be operating.
Add in
there.
Dr. Umana.
Exactly. Add in Umana and all the other cases in this region, and they were like, yeah, actually, we could use a tech to move down
It's
there.
amazing how just a few
Yeah.
months changes
Same
everything.
exact time. Yeah.
When
6 months.
You can have a vision for something, but
Yeah.
when God's timing's in it, it's in it.
Yeah, and I remember, man, it was 6 months of just like, God, what are we doing? And we were leading. I was leading at a church. You know what? They did take me on staff at that church in South County. It was a vineyard church actually that Randy Clark planted way back in the day. Now I don't think they're associated with the vineyard movement, or I'm not 100% sure, but
Is that your fault?
yeah, probably, yeah, yeah. Vineyard
No,
hates
we're
me.
not. Yeah, they're out of it.
Yeah, that guy writes false prophet music or something.
Yeah, that's right. He's in
Yeah,
trouble.
so that's how that whole thing happened, and God opened all the doors, made it
And
happen.
next thing
and
you're down here,
we
you're
are.
living here, been on staff now 4.5
Yeah.
plus years. It's just been incredible. Just let me say this: Ben's absolutely, I think, one of the best worship leaders I've ever had a chance to work with on a Sunday by Sunday. I'm not degrading Nathan. I'm not degrading, anybody before I've worked with, whether it's in Pawnee or Highland or anywhere else. You guys are all great. But what I like about you is that you worship God and you let us all go along for the ride. And that's what I like the most about it. When I'm prayer walking in the back, I'm not worried about what's going on. It's almost like I'm living vicariously through your worship with God, and I can just I can walk and ride your wave. And that, to me, it's just easy. And I realize maybe not everybody likes Ben's worship, but I love it.
Well, it's the right fit for where our church is right now.
I can surf on it.
Yeah.
You know, that
Because we've had lots of good worship leaders at other
all of our
churches,
worship leaders have
and
had
they've
their,
all done.
what I've asked
Yeah,
and what I
but
needed.
Yeah.
But for
what
me
Ben is
personally-
doing is what it flows with how this church does.
And if the whole building were to fall down on us during a service, he can unplug his guitar and continue to lead.
Yeah.
And we've done that.
And there's other people on your worship team that now can.
Yeah,
do
what's really cool
Jane
about
had
it,
to
what's,
when we were
Pass-
out of the
what's
country.
really
Yeah.
cool
Pass
about
that
that
on.
is your ethos over 4.5 years is speaking into everybody on the platform.
Yeah.
Because Lucas will tell you, we're a high-tech church. When we lose power on a Sunday morning, it takes, 10 minutes to get things back. He can't speak right now because he's reworking stuff, but it takes 10 minutes to reboot up our church. So you're literally stalling on a Sunday. We put power backups everywhere to kind of cut that down, but just a power outage takes us a few minutes to recover from. And Ben can just keep playing. And what's funny is we do, and what's even better is everybody that he's brought up understands that's the standard.
Yeah.
And the youngest worship leader we got steps in, and he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, he got put on the spot.
Got put on the
that one
spot.
Sunday.
Yeah, that's
boom,
cool.
boom.
Yeah.
He's still doing it, and I love that because it's just about you and God,
Yeah.
and everybody else gets to go along vicariously for the ride.
Which sometimes gets me into trouble, but
Yeah,
you know.
I know it does, but I don't care because as long as it's authentic and it's real, and that's what people want today, you're
Sure.
100% real. And if you've had a bad week, you tell me first thing. I tell you, and I've had a crappy week. I like the fact that we can be real with each other, but the fact is, we're going to put on a worship service at 10 o'clock because that's not God's problem. He can take our problems,
Yeah.
and we may, I've had Ben tell me, hey, I can't. We do pre-worship about 9:15. He says, hey, I'm beat up. I can't do pre-worship today. Okay, great. We'll throw something on. We'll throw something else on, and the Lord gets our heart ready for 10 o'clock, and we can get out there and give it to God. It's not that we can't do it. It's just sometimes we need ministry ourselves, and you're vulnerable for that way. That's one of the greatest strengths that you have is that while you look like a Superman on the platform, they're going to think that you're really Clark Kent. With God, you're really Clark Kent. I think
That's a compliment.
that's very refreshing. I know. I think it's good. Now you're involved with. I'm gonna throw this picture up here. You're involved with the Cedar Sessions group that Daniel Lopez came on the show and talked about.
Yeah.
You and Lucas are involved with that. You guys have done several now.
Yes.
You've done more than one.
Because it's advertising.
Are you advertising? Oh, look at that.
Oh, I left
Shameless.
I need a new one.
Look, you need to go to my Patreon and make some sort of deal. But since you're here, we'll advertise it. Cedar Sessions you guys meeting quarterly? Maybe is that roughly? Roughly quarterly.
Yeah.
Have you got anything? You don't have anything scheduled right now, but you're working on getting something scheduled.
Yeah, we just had a couple things fall through actually, so
Yeah.
we're working on scheduling different things now.
I think I can say something about that. I got to go grab another graphic. Cedar Sessions, that's an old one, but you can find Cedar Sessions on Facebook and just watch that. And if I showed this video over here, you would see Ben as part of the team. And well, heck, let's just do it. All right, here we go.
Are you with me tonight? Are you ready to give him the praise?
Mr. Daniel Lopez right there.
Are you ready to give him the attention he deserves?
Israel.
Are you ready to pour out the worship that he has shown is worthy of?
Dustin Griffith. There's old Ben.
Situation, no circumstance. Nothing could ever keep us from you. And nothing could ever
Jordan
keep
Griffith?
you from us.
That was Nathan, our former worship leader, right there. Yeah.
I just pray that you leave here with something. That's really what I want. I think that's what we all want. It's for you to walk out with something bigger than yourself. And that's him.
That girl can sing right there. That's which one's wife?
It's Mackenzie.
Mackenzie.
That's Dan's wife.
Oh man, she can go. She's got some pipes on her.
She's a baller.
So
I love those guys. All
Because
of
it's
them.
been a while. If you want to look at Cedar Sessions, go find the Daniel Lopez Worship Leaders of Southern Illinois series. You get a little more in depth in it. But tell us a little bit. What are they about again? What's your role in that?
Yeah. So I mean, really, the Cedar Sessions are a place. I mean, for us to be able to do kind of what what we all are called to do, and we're able to break down the borders and walls between churches in our area, because Lucas and I are here at COF, but none of the other people that we do Cedar sessions with go to this church.
But you could be confused. In the course of a year, I've seen them all on our platform at times.
Right, totally.
Or would be available if we needed them.
Yeah,
whether
so
we're doing a big event for the community like Family Fun Day, or whether we're doing something special. We've seen them here for, what was it, last year for Ash Wednesday or whatever we did, the big deal for. That was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you guys got a working relationship that's so great. I think
the Justice League.
It's
cool.
And I'm not sure that maybe Lucas can think through this, but all of our team, all the people we've had on the show for Worship Leaders Sunday have probably either been in a Cedar session or maybe intending maybe to be a part. Is there any feel on that?
Yeah, almost everybody, I think.
Has either participated.
There's a couple people who haven't participated yet, but they've wanted to.
Israel, Dustin, Daniel, Joshua Corrales. Have we gotten Joshua in?
Yeah. Josh played keys on one.
Dustin Keel. We hadn't got Dustin yet, have you? But Dustin,
no, but Dustin.
He's interested.
Yeah, we talked to him at one point about doing it, but we just haven't got it.
He's just passed one of the biggest churches in the area, so he's got
busy man.
Yeah. Jared Mitchell. Have you gotten Jared in yet?
No, but I mentioned it to him as
That
well.
would be
in
good.
the
Yeah.
videos, so
Johnny
that'd be
Wyckoff.
cool.
Have you had Johnny in one?
No, but Johnny did reach out to us about.
And Hannah Heron.
He'd be a sweet
Hannah's
addition.
participated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you can
all of
see that there's a coalescing of relationships. They're either in, they're interested in it, they'd be available, and there's a lot of intermixing, filling in for each other, covering. There's an incredible relationship. I said in the last episode, you guys have. I consider myself having a good relationship with the pastors in the region because of what I do with the House of Hope and Hands of Hope and stuff like that. They answer calls, but you guys have far better network than we do. And the network that you have, I would probably limit down to one, maybe 2 to 3 other pastors that I could count on at that level. And honestly, 2 of them are here and one of them would be an hour plus away. So you guys have an incredible development, and I'm sure I'm not even talking about all of them. There's more involved in that.
Yeah.
So Cedar sessions are getting people together. You're getting a chance to kind of bring your giftedness together and give it to God, and just people go to the Cedar sessions, watch for the next one. And out of that, you guys have brought music. You've put some music forward on like YouTube. Correct?
Yeah. And I mean, the original music and also just because the point of the night isn't for us to have a platform. The point of the night and the recordings is for people to encounter Jesus.
Yeah.
And encounter the Holy Spirit.
And you got a little bit of a limited attendance coming to this thing. You're not letting the place just be bulked out. Mm-hmm. You've got to say you want to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. I'm excited about what you guys are
doing. We want to be able to sustain it. And would you say that's fair, Lucas?
Yeah.
And there's probably a freedom to it that there's
totally.
not in your churches that you can just.
Are you doing church on the round?
I would say that's probably
on
true,
all these, Lucas, are you doing church on the round? Are you trying to set up a roundhouse?
Pretty much.
Where you can.
We're always limited to the location
Space.
that we're at, so sometimes we're kind of one up against the wall a little bit. But
are several of
pretty
these
much around? Yeah.
Are more than? That one was one of the early ones at our church. Are there more up and available for people to watch on YouTube?
Yeah, there's about 5 or 6 videos up right now, and then
there's more on the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've got probably probably like 12 to 15 on the way.
So Cedar Sessions has a YouTube page as well.
Yeah, actually, that's where all the full length videos are. Anything we post on social media is not full length.
And if you look up Cedar Sessions, do you need to say anything else? Cedar Sessions, Southern Illinois, or something like that?
Nope.
Cedar Sessions. Listen,
just Cedar Sessions.
Here's my deal, though. We tried to catch them on our subscribers, and we were getting real close to them on the dock. If you go there because we sent you got to also go to ours and hit subscribe. We want to have tandem growth because we're your media. We love you. So if you go subscribe, hit like on them right now, and do the same on us, and then share both of those with everybody you can. And we want to see the kingdom grow. We want, especially that. So
and it's happening.
So tell us about your call into ministry. How did you move from just being Ben to I know people may not know this, but you're a guitar player, but you're also a drummer.
Yeah, drums were my first love.
Drums are your first love. So I don't know.
They were my first love.
I don't know
now
if you got in worship platforms through drums or through your keyboard. I mean, you don't play keyboard, but do you play bass at all?
Yeah.
Play bass guitar?
I'm not great at it.
But what got you into the worship platform wherever you started? How did you get started?
So I got started. I was a podunk little guy back in early high school. Living that freshman high school dream. Hanging out. And,
I don't miss being a high school freshman at all. I'd rather be a college freshman.
It's kind of an awkward, chubby little guy. And
nobody likes you.
That hasn't really changed, but
Only the 8th graders think you're cool.
right, and barely,
And they're not cool.
barely, yeah.
So it's not good.
Yeah, so I, so my family had kind of been attending that Vineyard Church, actually, that I talked about earlier. And when I got maybe like 7th, 8th grade, high school years is when I started going to a different church in Columbia. I knew my friends had been going there, and so I wanted to. They had a big youth group, and all my friends were a part of it. I was like, man, I kind of want to go to church with them so I can be with my friends. And started doing that. And somewhere along that journey, a guy took over as the youth pastor named Bill Bandy, who, I mean, I could talk about Bill for 12 hours.
Good impact on your life?
Yeah, I mean, he's very much father figure to me. And if it, he married Haley and I.
Are you still connected to him?
Yeah, we were on the phone just the other day.
So for Bill would be like for me, a Fred Bishop. It would be like Fred's my mentor, coach. So
yeah,
Bill
if it wasn't for Bill, I don't know who I would be.
For me, Fred
Would
Bishop
not
and
be.
Shane, his son, I wouldn't be a Christian, wouldn't be where I am.
Yeah, 100%.
Had they not sewed into me and
Yeah.
spent time with me. So
Yeah, so Bill really stepped up. He really stepped up for me a lot of times. So I played drums, and I started.
When did you pick up the guitar?
So I started drumming in the youth group, and then I think probably when I was a freshman in high school in the youth group, Bill, I had like, I could always like kind of hear chords and stuff. Like I had an ear for music, but I don't know. I just never really like, I don't come from a musical family. Like I'm the only musician in the family. I wanted to play drums. I started playing drums, taught myself that, started playing in youth group. And Bill, I guess saw something in me and started like kind of showing me, guitar chords. He was saying to Lucas the other day I was on the phone with him, and Lucas was here, and I put it on speakerphone, and Bill was like, yeah, I asked Ben, if you know what a G chord is? And I was like, what's a G chord? And he's like, he shows me a G chord, and I'm like, oh, you mean this? And I played it, but I didn't know what it was, because I just heard it and figured out kind of where it was. And anyways, he started kind of investing in me, let me use his guitar and stuff, and started teaching myself guitar. And he was like, Ben, you're a worship leader. And I'm like, I'm not a worship leader. Well, he was right. So yeah, I started leading worship in youth group at that church.
Because it's hard to lead worship from the drum setting.
Yeah,
there are some
Well,
singers that can
want to be
sing.
Phil Collins, but it's a bit of a flex.
You can do a song. I mean, from there, but it's hard to lead.
It's a bit of a flex.
So he was pushing you out.
Yeah, he was stretching me. Yeah,
and you had the gifts to step out, and so that led to you moving out and beginning to lead worship.
Yeah, so I started leading worship there in that youth group, and powerful things started happening. I mean, we started kind of refocusing, and Bill started teaching more on the Spirit, and that God isn't just this distant God, but there's a Holy Spirit that dwells inside you, and we can actually like have communion with Him, and like he can actually show up and do things during worship.
So do you think that his philosophy on that the Spirit wants to have communion with you is some of what created the ethos of your worship?
Oh, 100%.
That worship is your communion time with God.
100%.
That would explain a lot to me about
it's sacred. It's sacred. Worship is sacred to me. It's like no matter what's happening in my life, no matter how stressful the week has been. Yeah, sometimes those things can impact my worship, but it's like with David. I mean, if you look at all the trash that was happening in his life, yet his worship unto God was pure in God's eyes. And worship for me is that. It's like this sacred thing. It's like no matter what's going on, I know that I can set it aside and lock eyes with Jesus and have communion with Him. And so I think there's a purity in that, and that's something that I hold very highly. Again, no matter what turmoil, no matter what, maybe I yelled at my wife or something.
That is absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely 100% who you are.
Yeah.
What I didn't even get to the question about the heart of worship, but for you, this is the heart of worship. The worship's sacred.
Yeah.
Worship is a pure, sacred relationship, no matter what condition you're in for the day.
Yeah.
Good, bad, up or down.
Yeah.
You've been terrible like David has to God. You've been great. You've been a man of faith, killed the giant. Whether you just screwed up with Bathsheba, whether you just did this, God is still your God.
Yeah.
And now you got to deal with him and kind of work through that muck and mire, you know. And no matter what, you're going to have communion with him and sort things out.
Yeah. And hopefully bring him glory.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I like it. And
That's kind of the goal, right?
Bring him glory.
Yeah, and that too. It sounds when
that's
we talk about
that's
worship,
good.
it can sound very narcissistic sometimes.
No, but you got to work. You got to go through the ringer.
Yeah.
So the output for you is in the end is no matter how you came in to come through bringing him glory. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean your problems are resolved on the other side. It just means you've got him with you as you go to deal with them.
Sure.
You know, I think, and you can kind of see that with David. You know, David knew. I can't get over when David was so bad, and then God comes in and says, you know, I can put you in war for 10 years and lose this many people, and I can give you pestilence for the next 3 years, and you're going to lose this many, or I can just kill this many people this week, and we get this over with. And David says, I'll take door number 3. And then their relationship is tough, and David has their problems, but he still worships the Lord, and he goes on, but he goes on in relationship.
Yeah.
You know, he even stops it by going out to God in the middle of the threshing floor and pleading for the angel to stop, and God hears that because he's back in relationship. He accepted the punishment. He accepted the thing, and he got back on talking terms enough with God that is it Nathan's threshing floor that he stopped it on? Yeah, he stops the death angel. And actually, that's where they believe the Temple Mound's actually built down the road. So it was right on that spot because he bought that. Remember, he wanted, and the guy said, "I'll give it to you." He said, "I can't take something that hasn't cost me something.
Yeah,
this is going to cost me. I got to pay for this." And so I love that philosophy because it says God can get me through this as long as I can connect with him.
Totally. Yeah, and that was definitely formed in me during those years at that particular church. And like I said, I mean, God started showing up in that youth group and moving powerfully.
What's it? So would you define that? What was the brother's name that mentored you?
Bill.
So would you define Bill as that would be his modus as well? That's what you saw in him as community.
Yeah.
What's interesting about it is you totally lived that out. I was raised by Shane and Fred, and they took me all over the world to lead people to Christ. And I'm not talking about all the world. I'm talking about to the craziest, stupidest spots in the world to go do it. They took me to New Orleans. They took me to the VP Fair. They took me to the Democratic Convention, the Republican Convention. They took me to Indianapolis 500. They drop us in the middle of people that are drunk and having basically orgies and just say, go out and share Jesus. Mm-hmm. And we'd get off the bus and go do it. I mean, most people would not let anybody out there, and we would do it. And so now I take people around the world. We go to Padilla, we go to Walking Street, it just, to me, if there's not a lot of people like grunting on you and trying to sweat on you and trying to do nasty things around you, I'm thinking, well, why do you even need to share the gospel? People aren't even sick. You know, I was trained that the gospel could go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I live. Yeah. I just, boom, we're going to knock Satan's teeth out. We're going to take it back. It's interesting how a mentor can shape your philosophy.
You should get Bill in here sometime, honestly.
Yeah,
we need to do
great.
that.
You would.
Why don't we do that? Let's do that. Bring it. We'll bring you both in and just talk to him.
I'd weep.
It would be cool. It would be cool to get Bill and Fred in here. Boy, they would have fun, wouldn't they?
That'd be crazy.
But it's interesting how mentors have that impact on you. You know, I think of in the Bible, Jesus says, "Oh, Paul, I know, but who are you?" The 7 sons of Sceva, and then they beat him up. You know, the spirit of that brother that leads you to Christ, that father-son spiritual relationship, has impact. It doesn't mean you're not yourself and you don't have your own gifts and some additional calling that develop. I certainly have mine from Fred and Shane, and I've gone to different places because I'm uniquely called as well. We're unique, but their DNA, their spiritual DNA, how I was raised, it will always be a part of who I am. I will always look for the toughest wave to hit because I just want to hit it back. You know, my worst thing here is just dead time. I'm like, well, they don't really need me. You need it. You know, I love the fact that Bill has spoken that into you, and it comes across. I could describe that without even knowing Bill. That's really cool. What a cool. We'd love to have him in. Let me ask you real quick as we get ready to wrap up this first episode, which has been fantastic, Ben. So your heart of worship, we kind of got there. What are a couple keys? I mean, as you want to talk to people out of your experience from being a youth worship leader to being in youth worship to now, what are some things you could help people, those couple things we've been asking everybody to help people come prepared to connect with God? What are those things you need to be ready for to really come and have that communion experience you talk about, or to be ready to lock eyes? Because not everybody gets up on Sunday and even wants to talk to God, let alone drive to church, and they have this and that. But you're somebody that no matter what, you try to make it happen best you can. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying the wheels don't ever come off. All of our wheels come off. But even if your wheels are off and you got one kind of limping, man, you'll stand before the Lord. I like that. So what are some things you could help people in getting themselves ready to come experience for you the purity of that sacred moment?
Well, I think people need to recognize that it is a pure and sacred moment, that it's not just we don't just do it to do it. We don't just do it out of tradition or performance or entertainment for the congregation so that everybody can ease up and get ready for the sermon. And, it's not like we're not here to entertain you and put on a show. It's like worship is that. It is intimate, and if you you have to know that, I think. And I mean, I don't know how to get that across to somebody, but you have to know that, right, so that you don't approach it like we're just here to kind of sing the songs.
We've heard from several of your partners in here about the closeness, the one-on-one, the communion, the relationship, and you use the word intimacy to describe that. I don't know that the one thing I think is missing right now in the life of the larger church today, where you see the hot movements like Cedar Session. If you come to Cedar Session, you will see intimate worship taking place. If you're in our church amongst our worship team, you will see intimate worship taking place. Do I see that in everybody in the pew right now? Not yet. I see moments where people are drawn into that in our church life. I see people come ready to do that every Sunday as well.
I think maybe they just don't know that it's for them to experience. Like it's for all of us to, I'm, and maybe it's bad, but I don't view what I'm doing on the platform as necessarily shepherding people or leading people. I'm just trying to set an example of what everyone in the room should be doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe that's something we need to communicate a little bit with people and training people. That's a good thing to listen to. Is I think a lot of people come in, they've had a bad day, they've had a good week day, maybe they've got a big raise and they're thinking about the raise or thinking about the boat they're going to buy, or they've had a horrible day. Yeah. They just barely got in the room. They're still angry. They're texting their person sitting next to them, telling them how much they hate them or want to chop their head off or whatever. I mean, they're just having a bad day. All right. And then you crank up worship, and you've maybe had just as bad day or just a good day, but it doesn't matter. It's time to worship. And so you're moving into that communion time with God, that sacred moment. And a lot of people... It's an opportunity. But I think a lot of people come in and go, today, I'm not feeling it. I'm going to go through the process. And I'm glad that they've gone through the process. But they're going to live vicariously through you doing the communion. They're like, I'm going to have communion. I'm going to let Ben take it for me today, and he's always passionate, and so I wasn't feeling it, but I appreciate Ben's effort out there, and I'm living through him. And what you're saying is that's not what you're wanting. What you're wanting is to lead them into that, and you're just showing them, hey, I'm not having a good day either, but I'm still it's time to worship.
Yeah.
That's not God's problem. God is still my God.
Sure.
And some people come thinking it's not a good day. What you're saying is my goal is to lead them or to set an example, and rather than worshiping through you, you want them to have their own path.
Yeah, I want them to be
intimate,
vulnerable
too.
Yeah, in the moment.
And I think as we talk about what's going on with a lot of people in church, I don't think a lot of people come in quite. I think they put some fences up on that stuff because
you start looking around and there's people around you and oftentimes we just care a little bit too much about what people think.
I'm going to try to say this in a positive way, because we're all adults here, hopefully. Intimacy is messy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true in life. You get in love with somebody, it goes well. You get in love with somebody, it goes bad. It can be bad for a moment, bad for a day, bad for the rest of your life. It can be great for the moment. It can be the pinnacle and the great experience. Children can be born out of that intimacy. Families are started out of the intimacy. Families are wrecked out of the lack of intimacy or false intimacy or misguided intimacy. Intimacy has, life-changing consequences to it. And a lot of us seem like we detach ourselves from intimacy inside the church, because if I get intimate and I'm having a bad day, I might have to weep. I might need to cry. I may need to get on my face. I might need to repent. I might need to do something that would cause somebody else to see that I'm not perfect.
Yeah, and God doesn't want your facade that you put on for the rest of the world.
Yeah,
Right.
He wants you, like he wants your mess.
Yeah.
He wants you to be vulnerable.
Joshua
with it.
Krause, he's one of our younger worship leaders, but he said something really that it's really cool that if you can just get your own worship on, other people may be worshiping through you as well. Not just the worship leader, but there may be other people that see you as a normal person. They see you opening up and they go, well, if he can open up, I'll open up. We expect Ben to open up because he's on the platform. He's a professional, but over here you see Joe Blow or Jane Doe, and they open up. All of a sudden, wow, man, it's okay for me to be real.
Yeah.
And then everybody can start commenting. You can't. It's one thing to have the worship leader real and the worship platform real and the pastor. I think we do a good job with that at Community. I think what we struggle with is the line where other people get permission to be real. Mm-hmm. And so giving other people the permission to be real may be the big challenge we're facing right now.
Yeah, and know that there's no judgment. There's no nobody's gonna be like, oh, look at that girl crying over there, like oh, she's so weird. And
but everybody lives. But everybody's
doing that. Except
we're
maybe
we're in a day where everybody lives through the perfect. So to be real again is to be intimate, is to be messy. Because if you go on, say, Netflix and you want to watch real estate, there's 20 real estate shows on there where all the girls are dressing in Gucci and the guys are like perfect GQ, and they look like nothing like any real estate agent I've ever had work with me in Southern Illinois.
Right, they look like Lucas.
Yeah, and they're selling houses that we can't even dream about. They're doing houses $20 million where people are paying cash down. You don't have that going on in Southern Illinois. That's not realistic. It's like girls that look at girls that look at like SI swimsuit and go, boy, I want to look like that. But you don't understand. They've been airbrushed and fixed and everything else. It's not real. There's so much stuff we look out there going, I can't be vulnerable here because if people saw me, I'm a mess. I mean, but what they go, I'd rather live vicariously through these people out here, but the people they're living vicariously through, it's not real either.
Right.
It's not real. It's coached. It's planned. It's with a group of people. When you get looking at them, they're a greater mess than you can ever think of.
Yeah.
You look at some of these people that are so wealthy and so rich, and then they have got wrecks for homes, wrecks for relationships with their kids, and they're just regular people. Mm-hmm. So I think we struggle with intimacy because the world has set status up, and we can see it on our phone in every picture and every video and every clip. We want to look like the Joneses, but the Joneses aren't really that impressive if you get them off camera. They're a mess. There's the one of the most glamorous families in the country for a while. All of us were kind of marveled at was the Sisters' Wives family. When Cody had the 3 or 4 wives, and how does he manage all that? None of us want to do it because you can afford it. But for a long time, it was glamorous. This man has 4 wives. They're all getting along.
The Mormon guy.
The Mormon guy.
Gotcha.
Show was it was a hot show on TLC. It was like everywhere. Now they're all erect. Every one of them it's a disaster. I've been noticing everything in my smart news is how bad it's going with the Sister Wives. And we watched that for about a year or two because I just go like, oh, I don't think so. But you go, it's working. How does that work? You find out it was never, ever working. Mm-hmm. It was a lie. What was really good about it was they all made a lot of money with TV and the shows and the renewals, and they all ended up with individual empires. They're all splitting off now because every one of them are doing their own book deals, their own movie deals, and it was a lie.
I guess if you're going to be miserable, you may as well.
I saw where one of them today
is
dating, and they're doing what's the one where you swipe in Timber, whatever, Tinder.
Timber.
One of them's now Tindering. I'm thinking, great. You were this holy Mormon family that was doing this divine life, and now you're on Tinder and you're getting ready to write your next book deal and do a movie deal and your own spinoff sitcom. God is not glorified in any of that.
No.
Intimacy. I didn't mean to get into that show. I'm just saying, I think a lot of what we look at and we hold back from is not realistic. I think what's been great about you is you come in and you just have communion, and honestly, you don't mind if other people join you, which is cool because a bunch of people join you in church, and it doesn't seem to throw you off your game much. If anything, I think your biggest problem is this would be my biggest critique of Ben. You ready, Lucas? My biggest critique of Ben is you will have just ate a loaf of bread with God himself. And we are all just blessed to be in the presence of God with you. And then you will look up and tell everybody, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there. You apologize. You just ate a loaf. You just let us eat a loaf of bread with God. You know what I mean? We just experienced God. And you're like, well, I just got hung up. And I'm thinking, man, thank God you got hung up. And I'm always, every time you say that, I'm thinking like, golly, nothing to apologize for. I'm just, it's cool. So what I love about it is your humility is when you get up, you go, oh, I'm sorry. Because you were having this loaf of bread, and then you realize I was having a loaf of bread. I forgot I had a congregation out here, which is true.
You know what though? Part of that is probably like, I probably wouldn't feel the need to apologize sometimes if I didn't feel like people were just watching me eat the loaf of bread.
I know,
Right.
I know, because you look up and you come out of that anointing moment, and then you go, "Oh, I got people out here."
Yeah, like I didn't mean to leave you guys behind.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I just splattered myself on the ground before God, and God just resurrected me.
Yeah.
And I just realized there's a whole crowd watching. Is he gonna get up? You know?
Yeah, like some of them, and people probably ready to move on. And I know not everybody worships the same way. Like it looks different for everybody.
I know.
So sometimes,
and I'm like, because be honest with you, I'm always with you there. And I'm like, just go run with it, but the fact that you look up lets you know that you were so dialed in that you didn't notice where you were driving the car, which I think is cool. I think it's why it's my biggest critique. It's also what I think makes you the best worship leader I've ever had. So
well, thanks.
we're going to come back in part 2. We're going to go much deeper. I gave him shallow questions and we had deep conversation. Mother Beth, what do you think? It's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Ben's impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, listen, we're in season 2, super series, Worship Leaders Southern Illinois. We're going to be back in, oh, that's not the right one. That says episode 24. I got to find the one that says, we're going to be back in episode 25 with Ben Ottolini, the worship pastor at Community Faith Church. We would love to have you come out to Community Faith Church, 10 a.m. on Sundays. You can come out and experience Ben. Look, you can come out and just connect with Ben out here. And if you don't want to hear me, get up and leave when he's done. That's fine. That's fine. I'm cool with that. I want you to come experience Ben, because Ben is worth worshiping with, because he will get you in the presence of God. And maybe you'll be so caught up in the glory that you'll stay and listen to me. That'd be great too. Wednesday, 6:30, he does it again. And you can go catch him at Community Faith Church on our YouTube, Facebook. You go to SermonNet, kind of watch some of that. But we'd love to have you come out if you don't have a church home already and come be a part of it. We'll be back in episode 25 of this series. It's 25 parts in this series so far that we've done. And we've got 2 more coming up for you. Worship Leader Southern Illinois is going to be great. Come out and find us. Ben, thank you very much. After this episode, Ben has done a worship piece that we are going to feature at the end of this. So don't disconnect. Stay on and catch a special. What are you going to do? What song are you going to do?
It's going to be an original. It's one that Lucas and I wrote. And yeah, we recorded it in your son's coffee shop a couple months ago.
Very cool. So stay tuned for that and catch out one of the worship pieces from him. Go find out what he's doing with Cedar Sessions as well. Follow him here, and it's going to be great. We're at info@onthedoc.org. Check us out. Email us at info@onthedoc.org, but also go to onthedoc.org, our website, and find out how to find these episodes, both this one, others that we've talked about, and upcoming ones. You can go to Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube as our primary places. When you get there, hit the subscribe, notify, whatever they do so you can always get our stuff. Go to Google Play, Facebook, Roku, Rumble, and SermonNet, and we'd love to hear your comments. If you know Ben, if you've seen what he's been doing, he's been a part of one of his groups or youth groups. You've been what was the group you did, the organization you did when you were doing those events back in St. Louis Metro?
Freestyle.
If you were ever part of the Freestyle community, we'd love to hear from you as well. Share this out as well. Go to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter. Let us know. Hopefully we can get these out to some of those groups. They can see what you've been doing. And again, share those comments. Be nice. And we'd love to have you as a Patreon partner or sponsor. We got 4 levels of partnership, 3 levels of sponsorship. Love to have you. And again, come on out to Community Faith Church. Sunday 10, Wednesday 6:30. And check out Ben, the worship pastor here at Community Faith Church. So we'd love to have you. So Ben, thank you so much. Get ready for this worship piece from Ben Ottolini. It's going to be great. We'll see you back soon for the next edition of Worship Leaders of Southern Illinois with Mr. Ben Ottolini.
Lord, we are here to pour out our hearts, to say that you're worthy of all that we are. And Father, we've come to see your face, and we need your kingdom to come and invade. And we just caught a glimpse of the things you can do, and you're just getting started to move. So open the doors, fling wide the gates, 'cause we are ready for you. So heaven invade here and now, move in this place, 'cause we belong in your presence. So come on and have your way. Give us clean hands and give us pure hearts, Jesus, 'cause we want to see you for all that you are. Yeah. And we just caught a glimpse of the things you can do, and we're desperate for you to break through. So open the doors, fling wide the gates, 'cause we are ready for you, Lord. So heaven invade here and now, move in this place, 'cause we belong in your presence. So come on and open the doors, fling wide the gates, 'cause we are ready for you, Lord. So heaven invade here and now, come and move in this place, 'cause we belong in your presence. So come on and have your way. In your presence, hearts will be changed and chains fall away when you move. There is freedom, healing and breakthrough, 'cause nothing's too big for you, Lord. In your presence, hearts will be changed and chains fall away when you move. And there is freedom, healing and breakthrough, 'cause nothing's too big for you, Lord. In your presence, hearts will be changed and chains fall away when you move. And there is breakthrough, 'cause nothing's too big for you, Lord. So open the doors, fling wide the gates, 'cause we are ready.